Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you might see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly for pricing. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing a 2007 model year limited edition of 1,500 pieces in grade 5 titanium. One of the best diving watches ever made. This is the Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Compressor Diving GMT, part of a series of hardcore divers launched by JLC in 2007. This watch has phenomenal utility, whether you are diving or just desk diving. Now, there are two versions of this watch, one 46 millimeters, one 44 millimeters. This is the latter. So in addition to its 44 millimeter diameter, it's 16.1 millimeters thick from lug to lug. It stretches 52 millimeters across the wrist, and it has a spacing of 22 millimeters between the lugs. So this is very much a modern watch, closer in finish and quality to something like Audemars Piguet than mass market sports watch players like Omega, Rolex, and Breitling. And in fact, this watch isn't made terribly far from Audemars Piguet, as they are both JLC and Audemars in the Vallée du Jeu. On my 16 centimeter circumference oval wrist, I can wear it. I wouldn't wear this watch on a wrist smaller than 15 centimeters circumference, but this is quite comfortable for me. Light enough, all in titanium, and then, well, it wouldn't fit underneath the tightest of dress cuffs. It doesn't look that thick on the wrist, and I think you should be just fine with a jacket sleeve. Now, this is grade 5 titanium, so lighter than steel, but also more scratch resistant than steel. It's hypoallergenic. It's the best of all possible worlds. The bracelet is a tour de force integrated end link, and then you can see that the individual links themselves are handsomely finished, all of satin, but with some nice beveling executed. These are actually screw fixed removable links, and you'll note that the screws, they actually hide between the links. So every individual link is removable, so you can really size this quite well, and it has that seamless look with no screws visible externally. But make no mistake, no pin sleeves here. It is a screw link bracelet. Now, it has a couple of tricks up its sleeve, the first of which is two 1.5 millimeter fold-out extensions that are effectively just like Rolex's Easy Link, but they fold out individually rather than just having one large 5 millimeter link. These are between 1.5 and 2.5 millimeters of extension, so these are true micro adjusts. And you have a quadruple trigger release system that ensures this double deployment clasp is going to stay shut. So you've got several different degrees of adjustability, and then an overbuilt clasp in matching titanium grade 5. You know it's grade 5 because it can be polished. The grade 2 stuff cannot be polished. You have some thoughtful accenting here, such as the polishing of the outer knurling of the bezel, and then there's a little bit of a polished bevel on the edge of the lugs, hand finished. The lugs are stepped out from the case band, so unlike something like, say, a Rolex Sea Dweller or Submariner, you don't have a seamless integrated lug profile. We have a little bit more articulation of the case band, and then a rubber capped crown with JLC's patented compressor system. So white you're tight, and then blue you're through. So it's color-coded, so it's tough to just jump into the water without noticing the color code first. Now, the nice thing about this system is that it's a lot easier to operate if your hands are wet, sweaty, or gloved. So if you are a diver, this is a better system than a tight, screwed-down crown. JLC also recognizes that when a watch is on your wrist, if you need a crown guard to protect the crown, you've already lost most of your hand. So happily, there is no crown guard here to obstruct your access. Since the compressor system only compresses and decompresses the seal, it doesn't actually thread a stem through the seal. It doesn't wear down the seal. It compresses and then decompresses. It doesn't thread through it. It is 1,000 meters water resistant, and JLC is serious about precision. 1,000 meters, 3,280 feet. Thank you, someone, for finally noting the difference between most dials, which will give you something like 300 meters, 1,000 feet, and JLC, which gets it right. Now, there's a lot to love on this dial. There's an applique trapezoidal frame for the date. You can see that there are applique indices. We have bi-Arabic numerals at 12 and 6, and then we have a 24-hour subdial that has a concentric pattern on it, and it's slightly sunken into the dial itself. There is a constant seconds indicator down at 6 o'clock, which is not so much there to read the seconds as to indicate that the watch is running. That's part of the ISO 6425 statutory definition of a dive watch that a diver must meet. So JLC has this constant function indicator that changes its shape and its color balance. Now, it is a diving GMT, which means you've got a second time zone. You have the ability to step your local time and change it. You can see it drives the date forward or backwards. This is for travelers. Note the GMT does not stop. It does not get altered. I can travel and change my local time without affecting my home time. But if I pull the crown out all the way, now hacking or stop seconds, and I engage both of my time displays. Inside the case, caliber 975D, 29 joules automatic winding, unidirectional winding with ceramic rotor bearings, 48-hour power reserve, 4 hertz or 8 beat per second beat rate. You can see this is one of 1500. This movement is based on the caliber 975 Auto Tractor, a super tough sports watch movement that JLC developed during the early 2000s in response to IWC's experience using JLC 889 automatics and sports watches during the 90s. They were accurate, but they were not durable in sports watch applications. So the Auto Tractor was designed much like a Rolex movement, fairly thick, a full balance bridge, and a free sprung balance for shock tolerance. The use of a Spire gear profile, a technology developed with, I want to say, 15 or 16 other brands that were part of a consortium. They helped create that gear profile that goes into the drivetrain of this watch. Of course, the watch features a vast array of technical refinements, but everything comes together in the Master 1000 Hours control, which you can see is memorialized on the case back. 1000 hours of testing in 6 positions. It's a test of chronometry, shock resistance, water resistance, winding efficiency, and power reserve, and this watch gets the full package thrown at it as a fully built-up watch before it reaches your wrist. It was one of the first in-house factory standards to go beyond the COSC. The bezel, have a listen, is a 60-click design that is super chunky. If you like mechanical feeling dive bezels, then you're going to like Panerai, Doxa, and the JLC Master Compressor Diving Series, and that's exactly what you have right here. Very, very loud, satisfying, distinct. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. And we're back with the Master Compressor Diving GMT. You can see that constant seconds indicator actually changes its geometry and its shape at night as well. So it's a little bit of theater to watch that thing operate while fully loomed.